And welcome back to Loves Park, Illinois, everybody. It's time for another round of NJCAA Division III women's soccer action. Along with Sam Levitt, this is Bill Chaya, and we're getting ready for a meeting of the 4 and 5 seeds. Number 4, Brookdale out of New Jersey, taking on number 5, Herkimer out of New York State. And these are both teams that have had to come off of some adversity during the season. With the Brookdale team, which will be in the White Kids today, it was more recent adversity. The only loss was 2 matches ago. That was a 2-1 defeat October 16th at Herkimer. Bounced right back with a 5-0 shutout of Bucks County on October 26th to qualify for the Nationals.
Oh, it's an interesting matchup, obviously, because number 1, you have the 4 and 5 seed, 2 pretty evenly matched teams, and we saw in the opener just how talented some of these teams are. In Richland, we saw what they did with the 9-0 win. This should be a good one. Like you said, 2 teams that had a couple of stumbles during the season, but obviously had very good finishes, and we'll see what we get here in Game 2 of today.
Now, the deal with Herkimer, it was a mid-season struggle going winless in 4 out of 5 matches late September, early October, and the story on Herkimer was that it ran into a tough matchup day after day, week after week, and as the coach over there says, Jason Palkovic says, the soccer's not really meant to be played every 2 or 3 days, but that's the way the schedule went, and it was against the toughest teams in our region. So they lost 4 or 5 in late September, early October. The last of those was a 2-0 loss at third-seeded Genesee on October 6th. And they could see them later on in this weekend. Since then, Herkimer's won 4 straight matches, including a 2-0 shutout of Erie, which is kind of the big bugaboo here in the Northeast region. That was on October 28th. That 2-0 shutout of Erie allowed Herkimer to reach Loves Park, and the team moves the ball effectively, 4th in the country in assist. There's 4 players in this roster that have at least a dozen. Maddie Renshaw has 17. It's a team that's not afraid to spread the ball around. It's part of their game plan. They want to be fluid. They want to be aggressive. They want to attack the goal. That's the House Orchestra with our national anthem. Let's take a look at the starting 11 here for Brookdale. The higher-seeded team will be in the White Kids for this one. On the forward positions, it's a couple of sisters, Lauren and Jenna Carabin, numbers 16 and 20 respectively. In the midfield, it's 3 Albano, 7 Texter, 10 Delonzo, 19 Cooper. On defense, 11 Negra, 14 Moreno, 17 Doria, and 18 Cazada. Sheridan Casserly is the keeper for this one. And this is a very aggressive team inside the 18-yard box. 27.4 shots per game. That leads the country. 4th in shots on goal, 285. But they don't always find either the net or the keeper. We'll talk a little bit more about that as this match goes on. Herkimer is your 5 seed. They'll be in the dark kids. And here's who you're looking at for your starting 11. The keeper is Rachel Todd, the Week 9 National Goalkeeper of the Week. On defense, it's 9 Gross, 13 Thorpe, 21 Miles, midfielders. And they're really running 5 midfielders out there, so it's a bit of an unusual alignment. 3 Griffin, 5 Bromine, 10 Capron, 14 Renshaw, and 22 Harrington. On the forward spots, 11 George, 12 Purcell. So Essentially what you're seeing here is a 4-5-2. My math's bad. 3-5-2.
It's okay. It's a little cold out here. But, yeah, you hope you get a good game here. Obviously, two very evenly matched teams that, played very well this season. I mean, everybody here at this tournament, when you get to this time of the year and you get a trip to come to the National Championship Tournament, everybody's had good seasons. And for our sake and for the viewership, I hope we have a bit of a more competitive game than we had in round one, or I should say the opener of round one with Richland and Holyoke, and away we go.
So it'll be Jenna Carabin with the first touch on the ball. Again, Brookdale and Whitekit, Herkimer in those nice green and gray. They're not really pinstripes, a lot broader than that. For some reason, I'm thinking I wanted to go to a deli counter. Those are some pretty appetizing jerseys. A throw in here for the 4 seed out of New Jersey. Brookdale 15-1-0, a one-loss regular season campaign. Herkimer 12-3-1. Herkimer out of the Empire State. As you were mentioning, it was an absolute bub race in the opener this morning. Richland, the top seed in this national D3 women's tournament here in the NJCAA, a 9-0 victory. It was a insanely high shot on goal advantage, 25-0, and the Richland did not have to face a shot on goal in the entire match, so it was a very comfortable win. 7 different goal scorers among the 9 balls that found the net this morning. And a big reason for that was the ball was on one side of the pitch all morning long. So same old story. You have control of the ball, you might have better control of this match. Sheridan Casserly getting a little touch of the ball here early on. 75 saves, a 882 save percentage, 1 shutout of her own. Split time with a couple of other keepers this year for Brookdale. Right now it's Albano with the ball, moving along the near line. And she'll lose it in front of the opposing goal.
Well, this game off to a very active, nice pace early on. Both teams running and gunning.
And these are two, I think, and again, it's a 4 versus 5 seed, so this almost sounds redundant, but it seems on paper like it's going to be a pretty balanced matchup. Each team had a little bit of adversity to face during the season. Nobody ran the table. Brookdale lost its next to last match. And it was to a very, very tough opponent. Herkimer had that stretch. 1-3-1. Let's a header in the goal. Almost as soon as we get on the air for this one. And it's an early 1-0 lead for Brookdale. And we had just entered the 4th minute here.
Jersey Blues goal scored by number 17, Madison Doria.
That's Madison Doria with the goal.
7, Jessica Texter.
Texter with the assist.
Well, Doria, the sophomore out of Old Bridge, New Jersey, and that was just a wonderful header. Perfect cross, wonderful header, and just perfect execution in the opening few minutes.
Again, we mentioned with Brookdale, a very aggressive team inside the 18-yard box, 27.4 shots per game. That's best in the country. 285 shots on goal, 4th in Division III. But they don't always find the net or the keeper. 65% of the total shots are on goal. That's just 439th overall. I'm sorry, pardon me. That's deep down the list, but 439 overall shots, and that's overall shots is second in the nation. So there's a little bit of a shotgun approach to the balls put around the net. And I talked to the coach about that, and she tells me, well, again, it doesn't have to be pretty, but you miss 100% of the shots you don't take is essentially her philosophy. And you pepper even the best keepers with enough shots, and eventually something's going to slide through. And we saw a pretty good keeper in the opener today give up 4 before she was replaced at mid-game. And again, it's just a case of you pound the goal enough, eventually something's going to find its way through.
Well, you do, and at this point of the year, if you're an offensive team, you look at a lot of the different numbers, and it's no coincidence that a lot of these teams are towards the top of the division in shots on goal, because you have to get momentum going that way, get momentum going on the offensive side, and against good goalkeepers, which both these teams have. Yeah, you're gonna want that aggressive approach, and it is that mentality of you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You have to be aggressive, and obviously for Herkimer here, an early deficit, it even hammers that point further.
Katie Amundsen told me specifically they don't have to be pretty, they just have to go in. So we're seeing a little bit of action moving down the field again for Brookdale with a 1-0 lead. And we're barely 5 minutes into this one. And another shot on goal, and that one is smothered by Rachel Todd. Last week of the regular season, Todd awarded as the Division III National Keeper of the Week.
That's it, Deb.
Action now in front of the opposing goal, and the first stop of the afternoon for Sheridan Casserly.
Oh, you like that approach. You like the shot on goal and trying to make something happen. We saw earlier today, you just never know when you do get that shot towards the net what can happen on a rebound. It just creates a lot of different possibilities and potential opportunities. So you like the aggressiveness, maybe a little bit ill-advised. Like to set things up a little bit more, but you like the idea.
Now Herkimer likes to spread that ball around. We mentioned 4th in the country in assists with 79. Maddie Renshaw has 17 of those. Fellow midfielder Ashley Campion responsible for 30 points, 9 goals, 12 assists. Now, the forwards are usually going to be the last feet that touch the ball before it winds up with the net. Sarah George has scored 21 times. Kristen Purcell has 17 goals. George was a player of the week earlier this season. She had a week with 3 goals, 1 assist, and a pair of matches. So Brookdale again on the attack. That one is centered out of the corner. Free ball for anybody that wants to get there first, and that's going to wind up staying in the Herkimer end of the pitch, and might have seen a little offsides there. I may have missed that, but the officials never miss it.
That's their job. All over it, as they should be. Brookdale seems like a very quick, elusive team, and speaking of that, here comes a charge.
That's Lauren Carabin, 16, and that ball will trickle loose right at the goal line.
What stands out about Brookdale, you watch them for the first 9-10 minutes, very athletic, very quick, and just a different type of athleticism than perhaps Herkimer's really seen this year.
Carabin recovered that ball, and right now Herkimer is just struggling to get it away from its goal. Almost got it past midfield, but once again, Brookdale is able to keep it contained, and that's Jenna Carabin over on the far line before it eventually finds its way out of play. So Herkimer now getting it past midfield. And right away, turned over. Brookdale back on the counterattack, and that will wind up getting thrown in by Herkimer. Herkimer on his heels a little bit here. You don't see the shot on goal quantity that we saw in that 8 versus 1 matchup. It's just unofficially 2-1 in favor of Brookdale right now. But in terms of where we've seen the action on the pitch so far, it is definitely favoring the team with the white kits. Touch on this one's for Delonzo, the midfielder. And Brookdale approaching that 18-yard box. Herkimer will sweep it out of there briefly. But again, we haven't seen Herkimer with a lot of opportunity for an attack. They did have a one hopper that Sheridan Casterly fended off without any difficulty a few minutes back.
And one thing I think, Bill, that I think you'll agree with stands out. You look at these two teams on the field right now. Brookdale has a lot of size, a lot of tall girls on their team, a lot of athletic players, and that's an advantage right now against Herkimer. You can just see that 11 on 11, the size advantage they have, and maybe the quickness and athleticism advantage they have.
Lauren Carabin with the ball. Centering pass, but that'll get loose, and that'll be picked up by the keeper as Todd will go retrieve that ball. And you're right, that taller girls are going to give you a longer stride, and that can really help you on the counter. And you know, with a sport that's already all about what you can do with the feet, that just opens up a lot more opportunities for you when you've got. I'd say, just guesstimating here, but I'd say there's an average of about a 3-inch height advantage across the two rosters.
And we saw that speed difference with Carabin there. I mean, the ability to burst and get ahead of the pack and beyond that back line, very, very impressive, and that can really set things up as we saw just a moment ago. So that's something to keep an eye on. Carabin, getting out in space and having the ability to be creative.
And once again, Herkimer getting the ball across midfield, but really not able to do much with it once it gets past there. They haven't really had the opportunity to attack the opposing keeper. It's been one shot on goal so far, and beyond that, not even really opportunities to get close to the Brookdale net. So that's Purcell, and she got it to the edge of the box, but that one is wiped out of play fairly quickly by Moreno.
And that's just not great communication on the midfield forward attack for Herkimer. You had Elise Griffin, racing ahead. She didn't really know where the ball was, and there's kind of, for Herkimer right now, a little bit of a sluggish start. A lot of standing around, just the energy level. And I guess the level of athleticism just, I think, right now is with Brookdale.
Coach Jason Palkovich told me that they've got to pass well. They've got to pass well if they're going to advance. If they're going to take one of the nice trophies here in the press box home on Sunday afternoon, they're going to have to pass. They're going to have to pass effectively.
And it's just critical to get off to a good start, get off to a strong, energetic start, because with these teams, everybody is good at this stage of the game. Everybody's good when you're playing in November in a tournament like this. And you have to, understand that you get down by a goal or two, it's going to be very hard to come back.
So an attack opportunity here for Herkimer, but Renshaw not able to get it on net. Not even really a shot at all there. Now, Herkimer likes to high press. They love to high press the opposing team, and this is straight out of the horse's mouth. So I wonder if having a height disadvantage, if that's going to reduce that opportunity, because we can see how quickly Brookdale can go on the offensive. A shot that's blocked, so no going there. That was off the foot of Purcell, one of the forwards. And ball will drift over to the sideline. Herkimer spent some time early on this season as the number one team in the land, but the coach doesn't care too much about polls. He says, the early season polls are basically based out of where you were when last season ended. He says, I don't really care about the in-season stuff. What matters to me is where the polls are when you get to the end of October, when you start talking nationals. That's what matters to him. Now, when they did run into that 1-3-1 stretch about 5-6 weeks ago, they did run into a lot of highly ranked teams there in a very short period of time. Among those was Erie, which is again, that's kind of the boogeyman for a lot of teams in New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. A shot on goal and a nice leaping save from Sheridan Casserly. We'll see a corner kick resulting.
That was a terrific save by Sheridan Casserly. Had to leap high, athletic play. And that was maybe the most impressive save we've seen so far today.
882 save percentage coming into this one. And a little bit of an in-between shot by George. I think she was trying to get it off the foot, but really it came in about halfway up the shin, so not a lot of action on that. This one will come out of the corner. And Herkimer trailing 1-0, looking to even this one up. Doria with the assist from Texter for the only goal of this match so far. And here we go again with number 14. She'll wind up just wide, but a very solid kick for Renshaw, just about 2 feet to the wrong side of that bar.
Now you have to like what you're seeing from Herkimer now. They're creating opportunities and have a hop in their step that we did not see for the first 15 minutes or so. And if not for the outstanding save by Casserly, we'd be even.
So a hair under 29 left here in the first half. 1-0. Brookdale, the 4 seed, leads Herkimer, the 5 seed. And a long shot, and that one is going to find its way into the goal. How the heck did that happen? Laura Carabin on the counter.
Well, we talked about Carabin's speed, the elusiveness, got out in front, found the seam, and then just a tremendous finish. What a tremendous shot, Bill.
Now, it wasn't the moonshot that we saw for Richland in the second half of the opener. But I tell you what, that was a more than credible effort there. Morris still got the goal of the day so far, but I tell you what, Carabin right there, that's one that we might be talking about our play of the game when we get around to the close of this one. This is the second of 4 matches today. Day 1, first-round matchups in an 8-team field for the National Junior Collegiate Athletic Association Division III women's title. Some rough play over there on the corner. Nothing arises out of that. Herkimer retains the ball. Griffin will throw it in. And nothing coming off of George's foot, so this time we'll see Brookdale with the goal kick. And officially a 3-2 Herkimer shots on goal advantage. A little bit of a scrum, and the ball controlled by Delonzo around the middle of the pitch. Turned over to Herkimer. Closer to our side, Renshaw. Looking for Griffin. Griffin can't get there in time, and she's shouldered out of the way by Moreno.
A nice idea by the midfield, trying to find a seam. Cut it over to Griffin. Couldn't catch up to it.
And a lot of action across the pitch. Definitely not the one-sided affair that we saw early on in the 10 o'clock match. And it's the Carabin sisters again. The goal is empty. Who wants to cover? But the shot is wide by DeLonzo. DeLonzo just a little bit outside on that one.
I'll tell you what, just beautiful passing by this Brookdale midfield and forwards. I mean, they have found ways to get it in space and connect, and that time DeLonzo had an opportunity, got around the goalkeeper, but couldn't find that proper angle.
Doria and Carabin with goals so far in this one. It's 2-0 Brookdale. Higher seed with the advantage so far.
On that opener, we were so amazed by Richland's, not just the dominance, but the precision of which they played with. It's a little bit different watching Brookdale, but I would maybe make the case that Brookdale is the more athletic team. I mean, the speed, the athleticism, the elusiveness, it's really something special early on.
Now we'll see a shot go well wide of the goal here, but nonetheless, Brookdale has had better ball control, as you say. They're very good countering here, and they love to take their shots. Just 65% of the total shots are on goal, but their overall shots is second in the country. Their shots per game is tops in the country. And you take that many shots, even if you're missing 35%, you're still a top 4 team in shots on goal. Loose ball, and that one will be handled by Rachel Todd. Generals in the striped kits. Renshaw trying to find her teammate, trying to get a decent shot on goal here. They've had 3, and this one is going to wind up a wee bit wide. We've seen a couple of those go just to the left of Casserly. Just to the left of Casserly, but also not quite on the goal. So goal kick coming up here from Brookdale. Now I guess this one out past the center of the pitch. And surprise, surprise, is Carabin, the forward, centering. Nobody's there except the opposition. Recover the ball, Albano. She's marked well. Her centering pass is going to go wide. That's recovered by DeLonzo. 19 Cooper is looking for it, and that one is going to be crossed, and a hand save left hand from Todd. Fine job.
Well, that was a tremendous save by Todd. She was going the other way. Only thing she could do was put that left hand up and try to swat it away, and that's exactly what she did.
Brookdale keeping it on the attack, and that is going to roll out of play. Last touch was by Herkimer, so Brookdale throws it back in, and another opportunity right in front of the opposing net. Brookdale looking to secure control and get a quality shot, but that's not going to happen as that ball winds up passing the goal line. So we'll see a corner kick here. That'll be Texter. A lot of numbers in the box. High ball. This could be anybody's. That's 10. The ball's loose. Didn't quite get to the mouth of the goal. And this one does, and it is stopped by Todd. Unofficial shots on goal even at 4. 2-0 lead for Brookdale. Lauren Carabin had that shot on goal. She's got the ball again, and again she's on the attack, and nobody to center it to.
Select Sports is proud to be the official match ball of the National Junior College Athletic Association. Select Super FIFA match ball is used exclusively in all NJCAA soccer championships. Select Sport inspired by history but designed for the future.
So we'll see Todd putting it most likely out of her own end. A line driver, and what do you know? There's a white jersey right there to stop it. Like an offsides call, so Herkimer will have a chance to get it on the attack here. Less than 21 left before the half. And missed opportunity there by Carabin to snip a ball away from the opposition. Capron has the ball, and she's going to try a long kick, and that one is in! Capron from outside the box. Oh, boy. Herkimer is on the board.
General's goal scored by number 10, Ashley Capron.
Ashley Capron.
I'll tell you what, Bill, through 2 games, we have seen truly a couple of tremendous goals. I mean, that time by Capron, lined it up, and found a way to put it home. That was a pretty one, to say the least.
At least 25 yards out. So we've got ourselves a tight one now. A hair more than 20 left to play in the first half. Herkimer, the 5 seed, trails Brookdale by a goal. The winner advances to a national semifinal tomorrow afternoon. Long shot on goal, and that one is stopped by Rachel Todd. We've said her name a lot. Loose ball around middle of the pitch, and this one will be handled by Albano. Cooper had got in there to keep the ball from advancing beyond the center line. And again, with the recognition that we're talking about junior college soccer, and the crowd is typically friends, family, people that want to see their team win, whether it's a 1-goal match, whether it's a 10-goal margin. You definitely got to think that this is much more entertaining soccer here in the second match of the day. And a long shot on goal, and that will be stopped with a fair bit of ease by Sheridan Casserly. That come over from the far side. That was Romeyn. Romeyn if you're spelling along at home. And if you do want a written transcript of this broadcast, just write down everything Sam and I say.
Don't ask me.
Herkimer with an opportunity to keep it in the other end. But Brookdale just does such a fine job going on the counter.
Yeah, I'm with you, Bill, what you were saying just about the energy level and the entertainment value of this game. Not taking away anything that Richland did in the opener, but this has been a very even keel, well-balanced type of affair. And the thing you really like right now is both these teams very athletic and have some forwards that can really make plays and be creative.
Lauren Carabin just handles the ball so well.
She's
she
very
strips
good
it away
player,
from the
yes.
opponents. She controls it. She has very accurate shots. Now, again, her coach isn't worried about pretty shots, but even the ones that have wound up wide of the goal haven't been silly wide. They've been close enough to make the people in green sweat just a bit. And a shot and goal, and that one is in. It's a 3-1 game, and Lauren Carabin with her second goal of the afternoon.
Now, Lauren Carabin, quite simply, has been one of the best players, if not the best player we've seen today. I mean, the elusiveness, the speed, the athleticism, and that time she did it again, just finding ways to be creative. And when they get her the ball out in open space, watch out, because she gets ahead of the pack, finds ways to evade defenders, and finds a way to put it home. That was, again, sensational.
18, Quezada with the assist on that. 3-1. The girls from New Jersey with the advantage. And this time it's a different face and a different foot and moving the ball. Same family, it's Jenna Carabin. Four, 4-2 for the outfield players for Brookdale. 4 defenders, 4 midfielders, 2 forwards. And this time it's another goal from about 17 yards out. And this one comes from Delonzo. Yeah. 4-1. Brookdale with the lead. And those goals are 50 seconds apart.
How about Carabin and Delonzo? They have truly been, beyond impressive. We've talked about the elusiveness, the athleticism, their ability to get out in space, but there's Bill, sort of been a breakdown on the back line for Herkimer. That should not be happening, and I think that's a reason you're seeing a sub here, or a couple of subs here for Herkimer. They need to find a way to shore up that back line and not allow Delonzo and Carabin to get back there and get loose. That just cannot happen with the consistency it's been happening here in this half.
Romine is out. Griffin's back in. I believe Ramos is out. Lavallo is in. Quezada is out the other side. And right now this is Renshaw with the ball. She'll move it along to a teammate, and this will be a long dribbler that, quasi shot, we will say.
It's all right, Bill. You are the unofficial tallier, stat keeper.
Very unofficial.
So what you say goes.
My shots on goal are roughly even 7 apiece, but it's a 4-1 lead for Brookdale out of New Jersey.
Well, that's the number that matters there, and they've been able to take advantage of a lot of really good opportunities.
And a hard slide down to the turf there by Albano. By the way, we should mention this, that the play here is on a artificial turf surface. It's generically known around the sports industry as Phil Turf. It is also a trademark name depending on whether you're getting it from that particular company or not. But it's become all the rage over the last dozen years in many sports. Football, soccer, baseball, softball. You see this all over the country. In the north, where you have a shorter growing season for real grass, you see it in arid areas. If you can get over that initial cost, and it's significant to put in a fill turf surface, if you get in there, you really end up seeing a lot of cost savings if you're in a sports operation where you rely a lot on what your gate is, like and minor league baseball, minor league soccer.
Yeah, it allows you to have a lot of events without worrying about the condition of the field. So I'm with you. It's a nice surface here, beautiful facility here in Loves Park.
Shot goes wide of the goal, up a little bit above and a wee bit to the left. And that looked like Jenna Carabin there.
Well, fans, we want to remind you can follow all the action of the 2018 NJCAA Fall Sport National Championships live on NJCAA TV. Go to www.njcaatv.com to view live and archive broadcasts of national tournaments for soccer and volleyball. NJCAA TV is also available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Android TV, and Roku streaming platforms. It's NJCAA TV, the official digital video network of the NJCAA.
Sam Levitt reads that like a guy that's got a World Series ring. Here's Lauren
Don't give
Carabin.
away the secrets.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I've got a friend that was working over at Quad Cities, the Class A
Right.
affiliate of the Houston Astros. Your day job, so to speak, during the summers, you're the voice for several years now of the Hooks in Corpus Christi, the AA affiliate of the Astros. I heard that everybody in the organization was getting replica rings. Is that true?
Everybody, well, the fans got replica rings.
You guys got the
employees
real deal.
real.
You
Yeah,
got the
yeah.
real deal.
You got
Okay.
the real rings, yeah.
I've got
my name on it and everything.
Oh, with your name on it. Sweet. That went off the top of the crossbar. That was a long driving shot coming out of Carabin.
Corner kick, Brookdale.
See a corner kick here.
Short corner, 3 serving. Wow, contact.
Head-on-head action, and I think we might have an injury on the field. One of the Herkimer players very slow to get back to her feet, and she's struggling a little bit down the field. That's Griffin, number 3. Tell you what, people don't think about this. They think about American football. They think about hockey. They even think about baseball and wrestling. But soccer is a sport that has a high potential for head injuries, for concussions and other TBIs. You've got virtually no protective equipment worn by 22 players on the pitch at a time. Yeah, but you got shin guards. Good luck with that, yeah? So a loose ball out in front of their own goal. That'll get swept away by Brookdale. It's Albano. Yeah, she's been all over the ball. She's done a great job midfielding and keeping the threats away from Sheridan Casserly.
And I think it's safe to say the final 11:30, 10 minutes of this half, really critical for Herkimer. You got to find a way to cut into this lead, especially for a team in Brookdale that's shown no signs of slowing down. They've been creative. They've got the ball out in open space. So if you're Herkimer, I think you look at these final 11 minutes or so of this half as really critical to at least get a little bit closer, maybe cut it down to 2 or even get 2 goals and cut it down to 1. It's a critical time for the girls in green.
And Sam, there's a real statistical argument made that the game should be a much closer match than what we've seen so far. It's a 3-goal advantage for Brookdale, but they're very nearly even in shots on goal. We've seen a lot of opportunities for Herkimer. We have seen a few, though, where, especially in the first 5 minutes, where they failed to get a shot, period, much less a shot on net. Saw a handball on Herkimer. I think that was on Amber Douglas, who's coming to the game a few minutes back. And there'll be an opportunity here from, we'll say about 40 yards out. This is number 17, Doria. Line drive, and that one is high over the goal. Inside 10 minutes, first half, Brookdale up 4-1. Goals from Doria and an assist by Texter. 2 by Lauren Carabin. The second on assist by Cazada. Those were split by Herkimer's only score. Capeburn from 25 yards out. With 16:32 left in the half, DeLonzo put Brookdale's 4th score on the board. See a departure for Brookdale. That's Jenna Carabin getting a rest. Maya Shamloffel has entered the game. That's our favorite name to pronounce in this one. We got some fairly easy names to pronounce for the Brookdale roster, but Shamloffel's the one that it's handed to you, and as a broadcaster, you hope that you just don't blow it. I was joking about that with our PA announcer here, Brett Myers, a longtime voice of pretty much every sport that you can put on a field, a pitch, a court, or a rink.
Legend.
Here in the state line. Oh, yeah. Brett even ran music at my wedding. I'm not kidding you. Ball thrown in, and this will be handled by the remaining Carabin. That's Lauren, who again has 2 goals. Sisters on the bench at the moment. Albano with the ball again. She has the ball all the time, it seems. Whenever Carabin's not shooting on goal.
I wish I was at that wedding.
It was a good one.
I'll tell you what, Bill, I'll make it up to you. I'll invite you to my wedding.
That sounds good.
You might have to wait 10 years, but we'll get there.
That's a long engagement.
Got to get there first.
It's a long-term strategy. Here's Renshaw getting the ball past the middle of the pitch, and that'll be picked up by George. She hasn't had a chance to get involved in the offensive action too much thus far. And she's somebody that has to be involved in the offensive action for the Generals to rally and win this one. George has 21 goals this season. She is the top scorer on the Herkimer roster.
Alexis Romaine, replacing number 10, Ashley Capron.
Capron is out, and Romaine, number 5, comes back onto the pitch for Herkimer. A shade over 7 remains before we get to halftime. Cashley, double zeros and a neon green jersey. And it doesn't look like she'll do anything except hand that off for the goal kick. And that reaches the center. And as we've seen throughout this match so far, Brookdale very efficient moving that ball past midfield. Tangled up over at the far line. Herkimer holding fast to the midfield right now. And now Brookdale able to slip it by. Albano with the ball again. Looking to center it. That'll go pretty far wide. Ball retained in the offensive zone by 19. That's Cooper. Emma Cooper. Freshman midfielder out of Union Beach, New Jersey. The entire roster hails from the Garden State. Ball coming out of the corner. Brookdale on the attack, but that ball's sliding a little bit loose. Brookdale retains. That's footwork there from number 12. Schambloffel out of Marlboro. And Carabin looking to center, but before she can find a recipient, that ball is picked off by Rachel Todd, the keeper. 5 to play before halftime. First round action here in the NJCAA Division III Women's Soccer Championships.
Well, for how chilly and gloomy this morning in tournament started, it's ended up being a bright, sunny afternoon.
Yeah, nice
little touch for these two teams.
The nicest weather I think we've seen in a week over here. I mean, we were looking at forecast seriously, and we may yet see it this week, of snow being a distinct possibility.
Yep.
Long boom and kick by Albano that'll end up far to the left of the keeper and nowhere near being on goal. But this is what Brookdale wants to do. They want to pound the goal, even if it goes wide a third of the time. They just want to keep laying off shots because you shoot it enough, eventually it finds its way in, and they've had 8 on goal. Half of them have gone in so far, and they've had probably as many overall shots that just were not quite on goal.
You have to give Herkimer's back line a little bit of credit here. They really struggled in the opening minutes and opening portion of this half, but they've shorted up. They've found a way to stay in this game and keep it with that 3-goal disadvantage.
And Thorpe a moment ago did a nice job sweeping away in front of her own net. And Herkimer trying to get that ball across the center of the field, and they do. They get it to George, and this is a big goal scorer. The top goal scorer, shot on goal, and it's in! George from the corner of the 18-yard box.
Well, that was unbelievable precision. I mean, talk about not the best of angles, not the best of situations, had a defender right in front of her, and she somehow found a way to complete it and put it in that upper left corner. I mean, what a terrific goal. I mean, and a bunch of them in this tournament so far that have been mighty impressive.
Purcell, number 12, with the assist on that.
That was Sarah George.
22nd score of the year for Miss George. And we mentioned this in the earlier match that last year saw some exceptionally high scoring in the D3 NJCAA ranks. We saw a 100-point producer. We saw a number of players that scored in excess of 30, a few that scored in excess of 40, a couple of them last year. This year we haven't seen offensive numbers quite that extraordinary. Nobody got above 70 points this year, if I recall. I think only a handful got more than 25, 30 goals.
And by the way, we talked about 10 minutes ago about this being a really critical moment in these waning 10 minutes or so of the first half for Herkimer to get on the board, cut the deficit a little bit deeper, and that's what they did. I mean, that's a huge goal by Sarah George, and at least some of that momentum has swung the other way in the favor of Herkimer. That's a really big goal if they end up coming back in this one.
Herkimer still trails by 2, but these teams are even in the shots on goal. Now, in terms of the total scatter shot nature of the Brookdale offense, they're doubling up the shots on Herkimer. But in terms of quality shots, Herkimer's there.
And Herkimer's shown a lot of ability. I mean, we'd be singing a different tune if this was a 4-0 game and Herkimer just wasn't doing anything offensively. But they've shown the ability to set things up to finish. And if I'm Brookdale, this thing is a long way from over. This is a very dangerous Herkimer team, and they've shown it.
And Herkimer is the one with the long balls today. Goals of 25 and 18 yards.
16.
It was Capron with 20-27 remaining. That ended a 2-1 game. And then after Carabin and DeLonzo put 2 scores on the board for Brookdale, it was George from the corner of the 18-yard box. We're inside a minute now. First half, Brookdale 4, Herkimer 2. Brookdale has not trailed in this one, and it is led by as many as 3 scores. Oh my! That was just an attempt to launch a punt toward the opposing goal. An inadvertent kick to the face right there off the foot of Doria, and I don't see who the Herkimer defender is that went down, but she took it square onto the face. Well, she's back on her feet, fortunately. That's Renshaw.
Well, thankfully, she's on her feet and looks somewhat okay. And
she's going to be departing. I'm guessing. I don't have the eyes to see from here, Sam, but I'm guessing she's probably got a little bit of blood on the nose.
Well, there's nothing you can do about that if you're the opposing player. That's just an unfortunate kick in where she was, but you hate to see that because that's just it's a bad sight when you see that happen and a kick happen so close like that. But thankfully she got up pretty quickly, so hopefully that's a good sign.
And while we haven't mentioned her as much as Griffin, she has been a pretty key part of the midfield play that we've seen so far, especially when they got around the center of the pitch. Inside 30 seconds to play now. Herkimer with the ball. Last touched by Brookdale. So a chance here in the final seconds as Romaine throws it in. That ball trickle out. Another throw-in by Capron. That one is punted out by Doria. And we'll see The first half come to an end without another shot on goal. And we have reached the half in this first round matchup of NJCAA Division III Women's Soccer. 5-4 going at it. Brookdale, the higher seed, leads 4-2. I'm Bill Chilon with Sam Levitt. We'll take a break and be back with the second 45 minutes. Bill Chilon with Sam Levitt. Kaiser DeCamp is our engineer, our producer, our director, our spiritual advisor, if you will. And we're ready for second half action. We're in day one, round one of the 2018 National Junior Collegiate Athletic Association Division III Women's Soccer Championships. We got a 5-4 game. Herkimer out of New York, 12-3-1, taking on Brookdale out of New Jersey, 15-1-0. Brookdale up 4-2, and we've seen a lot of long-distance action in this one, particularly by the team that's down.
Yeah, they it's really been an entertaining affair so far, and obviously Brookdale getting off to a great start, out to a 4-1 lead, but a big goal by Sydney George to cut it down to 4-2. And what stood out about this game, and not to take away from anything that Richland did in the opener, but I think what stood out is the athleticism, the even balance between these two teams, the speed, the pace of play. It's been a very entertaining half. Brookdale got things out in space. They got a lot of creative players, creative forwards that can make a lot of things happen, but we saw that from Herkimer as well. So it's going to be very interesting in the opening 5-10 minutes of this half to see if Herkimer can get a goal, cut it to within one, and then from that point, game on. I mean, they really need to be focused on continuing to shore up that back line, which they did a lot better in the final 20-25 minutes, and they need to find a way to score and cut it to within one. Once you do that, this is going to be a pretty good run down the stretch.
Sam, one of the great, most commonly used pieces of rhetoric in sports is we want to play our game.
Yeah.
I think both these teams have been able to play their game. Herkimer wants to move the ball, wants to pass the ball. They want to make sure they feed the ball out to everyone. They've got 2 goals, both on long strikes, the second one on an assist. Brookdale likes to pepper you like it's a shotgun pellet.
Yeah, they're very different philosophies. We saw a lot more opportunities for Brookdale. Obviously they have those 2 forwards that can really get out in space, and you're right, they will pepper you and take a lot of shots on goal. And you were giving those shot statistics a little bit earlier. Herkimer's a little bit different. They're a little bit more patient. But I would say just from the opening 45 minutes, they're just as athletic. They're just as creative, but they will be much more patient and take their time and really try to seize on some really good opportunities. Whereas I'm with you. Brookdale is more of a, in basketball, the term would be volume scorer. They're going to take a lot of shots. I think Brookdale's a little bit more that elk, and we'll see. I think much like the final 10-15 minutes of the first half where we said we're critical for Herkimer because you wanted to see them cut it to within 2 at least. Let's flip that. I would say the opening 10-15 minutes of this half, really, really critical for Herkimer to keep Brookdale off the board, keep the deficit at 2, and then hopefully if you're a Herkimer fan, get a goal, get it to within 1, and then, you got yourself one heck of a finish.
Number 12, Kristen Purcell, freshman forward out of Sequoia, New York, will have the first touch on the ball here in the second half. Herkimer coming out down by 2 scores. It's not quite win or go home, but it's a must-win in order to advance. The tournament is single elimination. You lose here on day 1, and you come back tomorrow morning just to play a game for the sake of you came halfway across the country. So no going back for anybody that comes here. 8-team tournament. National champion crowned on Sunday afternoon. Here comes Capron down the field for Herkimer, and they'll be going toward the west now. And the first shot there wide. And we talked about shot volume, like you said, volume shooters. Herkimer was about, Brookdale was about double the shots overall of Herkimer in the first half, but in terms of the shots on the goal itself, they're right about even, 8-8 in my unofficial scorekeeping. So Purcell trying to advance the ball, but that'll wind up going out. And for Brookdale, it'll be Doria, number 17, throwing the ball back in. And in the first 5 minutes, it just looked like it was going to be all Brookdale. Serious ball control, kept the ball in the other end of the pitch. Herkimer really put back on its heels, down by 3 at one point, but Herkimer stood fast and after those shaky early minutes, really acquitted itself well. Ball looser around midfield, but this was a situation that Herkimer encountered a lot in the early going, unable to get the ball down the pitch. And a lot of key midfield play going on both sides of this one. That was Texter that moved the ball along after a pass from Quezada, who's a little bit more of an aggressive defender in terms of advancing the ball. Quezada was on an assist earlier on one of the Carabin goals in the first half. Laura Carabin, 2 goals in the opening 45 minutes. The second and third of the match for her squad. Dory opened the scoring. 3 minutes in the second in. Now an assist from Texter. Delonzo from 17 yards late in the half. Capron and George with the first half goals for Herkimer.
Herkimer is controlling a little bit better than what we saw in the opening half, but they're settling for very quick passes that have not been particularly accurate. So if I'm Herkimer right now, I want to control the ball a little bit more, use that open space ahead, and kind of set things up a little bit better.
Mechanically, Herkimer has to be spot on.
Yeah, they do. They do. I don't know that while they're athletic, I don't know that they're as athletic as Brookdale. I'm with you. They have to be a little bit more fundamentally sound in order to take advantage of opportunities.
You're absolutely right, Sam. Herkimer's not a team that's designed to just turn the ball over to a dominant forward or midfielder to get the ball within striking range of the goal. This is a team that has to move the ball along among 3-4 different outfield players to get within range of a real opportunity. And we see a couple of balls that trickle near the goal, but I wouldn't count as legitimate shot on goal there.
And we've seen Brookdale be a little bit different in the sense they can get it out to a player like Carabin and let her run, let her create. And if she can find a seam and get out ahead of everybody, she's very dangerous. You're right. Herkimer's a little bit different. They have to be a little bit more patient.
And an opportunity perhaps developing for Brookdale. Lauren Carabin, we've mentioned her a few times. She had the ball for a moment, regains it from Texter, trying to center. The pass missed on the other end, recovered, Delonzo, and that is stopped by Rachel Todd. First legitimate shot on goal against Todd coming out of the half. She faced 8, stopped 4 in the opening 45 minutes. Two more matches coming up this afternoon and evening right here on NJCAA TV. We'll see 2 and 7 seed. We'll see a 3 and a 6 seed. Herkimer with a shot on goal. A soft liner. No problem for Casserly. It looked to be from Brenshall, the midfielder. Open ball, who wants it? Jenna Carabin gets there first. Texter will throw it in. And that one is knocked away. And Herkimer will get a chance to throw in once again and remain aggressive. And just outside the 18-yard box, right by the D. And a soft kick in an effort to sweep that away by Harrington, one of 5 midfielders listed in the opening lineup for Herkimer this afternoon. And a liner to get that one past midfield. But no real good opportunity there for Purcell. That might have developed into something, but I think that was a lack of patience perhaps. Purcell didn't wait until she had numbers stacking up in her advantage. She just shot that away at midfield. And another opportunity that is finished without a shot.
And there's a little too much standing around in the midfield right now for Herkimer. You have a player streaking towards the goal. You have to have people come into center and ready to receive a pass.
Capron's by herself.
Yeah, a little bit too much standing around.
This reminds me far too much of what we saw in the opening 5 minutes or so of this match.
Yeah.
And I don't think Herkimer is constructed to play any sort of isolation game. When we're talking about its offense, they've got to be passing crisp. And once again, we see Brookdale perhaps within striking range of Todd. And that looks like Jenna Carabin. That's just a little punt to get that thing somewhere near the goal. I'd argue more a punt than a centering pass. But they crossed it nonetheless. Now Herkimer perhaps with an opportunity, but again, you're getting numbers. You got to move the ball. You got to share that ball.
Yeah, and the problem right now is the forwards are not getting a whole lot of help from the midfield. The midfield is slacking behind. They need to get numbers up there. Right now, there just aren't. When they do get it towards the box, there aren't a whole lot of options to get it away. It's a little concerning with still 35 minutes left. Kind of how sluggish Herkimer's come out.
And it took a little while for Renshaw to bring the ball up the pitch, and I think it might have been because she was trying to avoid getting an offside call. I mean, the rest of the team was that slow moving up. I know that sounds like contradictory information, but as you say, Sam, there's not been a very solid transition or counterattack to speak of. So once again, sitting in the middle, the Carabin sisters all over that ball. And now Herkimer with a good opportunity with a fresh face. That's Capron, the midfielder. She's got 2 defenders on her. Trying to find an open teammate, and no go there. So this one was just a little roller down the pitch from Todd, and Herkimer perhaps about to wind up back on its heels again in its own end of the pitch. Carabin gets a high throw-in, and now a high booming kick over the goal. Well, that was Jenna Carabin. And here's Jenna with a shot on goal, stopped by Todd. That was a hardline shot right at the chest of the keeper.
What a beautiful cross by Carabin. Just set her up perfectly, and not a great shot. Kind of right where the goalkeeper was standing. Not a great finish.
That's Purcell, the forward moving that. As midfield. Purcell reminds me a little bit more of a midfielder.
Yeah,
at times.
and I'll tell you what, we've been tough on this Herkimer midfield and the forwards for not really seizing opportunities right now, but their back line and their keeper have really been excellent since the opening 25-30 minutes. I mean, they've stayed in this game. This could be out of hand at this point, but they found a way to keep this deficit at 3 and then 2. So look, they're hanging around, to their credit. I mean, we'll see how this one ends with 32 left to go, but they have been hanging around, and for that, they deserve a lot of credit.
As Renshaw, the midfielder, just took one to the back of the head. I think part of the reason, Sam, is that we saw what Herkimer was capable of in the closing 30 minutes of that first half. We saw some very effective play. We saw a 25-yarder from Capron. We saw an 18-yarder from the corner of the box from George. So we know that this is a team that is just as good as their coach built. Yeah. Jason Pelkovic was absolutely spot on when he described his team in brief to us.
Number 3,
Elise Griffin's going to come in and take over for Renshaw for the time being.
Griffin showed early. She's speedy. She can get out in front. So whatever skill you lose with Renshaw here, we've seen her make a couple of really nice plays. You do get the speed back with Elise Griffin.
Griffin, the sophomore, she can sit up at midfielder or at forward. Hails from Camden, New York. And an opportunity here for Herkimer. If it can get back to its game. Oh, and a little shove right there, right in the center circle. That's Cooper, and I tell you what, you're arguably the most muscular player on the field. You're going to use that to your advantage as long as you're not whistled, and sometimes even after you are.
Yeah.
They lift weights for a reason, folks. That one headed away. And Herkimer continues to be stymied on offense. And the shots on goal are right about even, and it's been that way through pretty much the entire match. But the overall shots, and again, this is Brookdale playing Brookdale's game. They don't care if the shots are on goal. They just want the shots composite because enough of them are going to be on goal and enough of them are going to be in the net. So that was a brief respite for Renshaw after taking the ball to the head. She's going to be coming back in and replacing Griffin.
Substitution for Herkimer. Returning to the game, number 14, Maddie Renshaw. Replacing number 3, Elise Griffin.
And now Renshaw, you get her back in.
There we see Todd, or her special pink goalkeeping attire. And she has been kept busy. So this is the conclusion of intermission.
They say in hockey, right, the 2-goal lead is the most dangerous lead. You almost feel like that with Brookdale a little bit here. Just in the sense of they've had a lot of opportunities. They've been unable to get that 5th goal and extend the lead.
And a shot far wide of goal.
They've allowed Herkimer to hang around in a big way.
It's almost feel like we're on a precipice, right?
Yeah, it makes you a little uneasy. I think if you're on that Brookdale coaching staff, if you're watching this and you're a Brookdale fan, but obviously a 2-goal lead is, with 29 minutes to go is not a bad thing. But You almost feel like it should be a bit wider than that.
Absolutely, and it feels like something's about ready to give one way or the other. It's been 4-2 since we were in the 42nd minute. Brookdale, the 4 seed. Herkimer, the 5th seed. Brookdale has never trailed. It's had the lead since the opening couple of seconds of the 4th minute on a Doria goal assisted by Texter. Lauren Carabin, a long goal to make it 2-0. Capron from 25 yards out to get Herkimer on the board with 20-27 left to play in the first half. Then Carabin on an assist by Cazada made it 3-1. Delonzo from 17 yards out made it 4-1. That was the largest advantage for Brookdale. And then George, with 3 minutes, 25 seconds remaining in the first half, on an 18-yarder from the corner of the box, made it 4-2. That was on an assist from Purcell. In case you missed the opening action, Richland, Texas, a 9-0 win over Holyoke. 7 different goal scorers. That one not even close. 4 scores in the first half, 5 in the second.
Ooh.
Holyoke without a shot on goal. This one a shot just above the crossbar.
Keep up with the latest news and updates.
That was Renshaw.
NJCAA Soccer by visiting the official website.
After taking the inadvertent ball to the back of the head about 4 minutes ago, hasn't really shown any ill effects. She came back within 90 seconds of clock time.
Now, Bill, we should remind the folks at home, Select Sports is proud to be the official match ball of the National Junior College Athletic Association. Select Super FIFA match balls used exclusively at all NJCAA soccer championships. Select Sport inspired by history but designed for the future.
It is a spectacular spear.
It is, it is the only ball to use.
Numbers against Herkimer, but do they have the will to get a shot on the net? Just a little dribbler in there, and that was off of the foot of 22. That's Harrington. Herkimer, by my count, and again, this is unofficial, 4-2 shot and goal advantage in this half, but the overall shot tallies here in the second half definitely heavily in favor of Brookdale. Yes, Brookdale playing Brookdale's game. Nothing wrong with that. It's gotten them to the national tournament. And we have a player down in the offensive end here for Herkimer. That looks to be number 12. That's Kristen Purcell. Purcell's been in the middle of the action since the opening minute. The trainer's golf cart's going to come out for that one. Herkimer coached by Jason Palkovic, David Clayton, the assistant. Kyle Ropnak is the assistant trainer. Fullenberg is the manager. Second place in the nation last year. Third place in 15. Titles in 1985, 88, 2005. And we do have a full-on stoppage here right now.
Let's go, White!
Folks, don't forget we have plenty of action coming up. 2 more matches today.
Enter the game, number 6, Alexis Ramos.
3 o'clock Central Time. We'll see the 2 seed Delta out of Michigan taking on Howard from Maryland. That's the 7 seed. 5:30 under the lights. 3 seeded Genesee out of New York. against the 6th seed from New Jersey, Union County. Bill Giant, Sam Levitt, bringing all the action. Kaiser de Camp is the man that controls our destinies. .26 and change counting on the clock here in Northern Illinois. And an opportunity, perhaps Brookdale with the shot, but the save by Casterly. Pardon me, Herkimer with the shot.
Corner kick Generals.
That was Caper, the midfielder. The Generals have a quarter kick here. 11 saves so far out of Sheridan Casterly. And they're going to count that one off the quarter. It looks like there's going to be a great matter of debate. Casterly is not filling that one at all. We've got ourselves a match. It's 4-3.
Go, White. Nice job, Russ.
There are some very unhappy moms and dads in the stands.
Well, Brookdale's argument is that the whistle was blown before the ball went in the net. And a yellow card given.
Ooh. That's Brookdale with the yellow, of course. And that's for continuing on the discussion. A moment too long, or perhaps a word too long. That's Devin Moreno. And she will be sent to the sideline for the time. Currently, that goal is going to go to Capron.
Yep, assist to 10. And the goal, I think the goal was to George.
Was the goal to George?
Goal to George,
Pardon
assist to Capron.
All right.
And we're trying to. There's no stat monitor here in the booth, folks.
My kingdom for a monitor.
Moreno got the yellow.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was George the goal, and Capron with the assist.
So I've seen 2 for Lauren Carabin from Brookdale. We've seen 2 now from the top scorer from Herkimer, George.
Oh, hey, this is what we've said, for the last 20 minutes and the waning 10-15 minutes of the first half. Herkimer just hung around, and Brookdale allowed him to hang around, and now you got a 1-goal game. And game on. Here we go.
Yeah, we're coming down to shots on goal. Herkimer has a significant advantage here in the second half. It's 6-2. Again, the overall shots, it's all Brookdale. And it's going to be all Brookdale. That's Brookdale's game. I'll talk myself for saying that, but that's Brookdale's played its game on offense to a T, just the way it wants to. It's felt to finish here in the second half, but in terms of getting the shots, it's gotten the shots just the same as it did in the first half.
Let's go, White. In the net.
But it's a 1-goal match, less than 25 to play. The winner advances to a national semifinal tomorrow afternoon. The national champion to be crowned here Sunday afternoon. That's George. Had her foot on the ball again. And the 2 primary forwards for this team, George and Purcell, were involved in more than half of the goals scored by Herkimer this season. Moreno, who'd gotten yellow carded for that little philosophical discussion, we'll say, with the official. She's back in. Lavallo departs. Here's a throw-in. That one rolls off the head of Lauren Carabin. She may have an opportunity brewing right here as she receives a pass from Doria and a shot on goal. Not a real tough one, though. And that's just been the third that could really credibly be counted as a shot on goal by Brookdale here in the second half. And we're just about halfway through this second half. Right now, it's an nail-biter, folks. Brookdale had a 4-1 lead at one point. Herkimer regained its second win after the opening 5 minutes or so of the match, and I suppose this is its third win. Opportunity to center this one goes astray. But Brookdale typically does a very fine job keeping play in the opposing end. This time a turnover near midfield. Can Herkimer tie it? Here's George with the ball once again at the top of the D. She's got 3 on her and she will not get a shot. Renshaw with the ball. Kicked away. Loose in midfield. Who wants it? Brookdale. Lauren Carabin. Top of the box. Still moving. The shot's wide. Herkimer substitution. Thorpe departs.
General substitution entering the game.
Right, that's not Thorpe.
Replacing number 13, Annie Thorpe.
That is Thorpe. We have Thorpes and 13 on both rosters, so I'm covered. Romaine is back in the game. Hit that panic button on the wall, you know. Another opportunity here for Brookdale in the white kits.
Oh.
And a header goes astray, kept alive, and that one handled by Rachel Todd. By Sheridan Casserly. Nope, by Rachel Todd.
That was a terrific opportunity on the header, just misdirected, not a good one. But again, Herkimer continues to get those breaks. Brookdale moving it forward, getting it inside the box, but they have just found ways to bend and not break here in the second.
We get another throw in here. Doria from Brookdale. Rolling down the line to Carabin. That one will dribble out. Last touch by Herkimer. Brookdale. An opportunity to stay on the attack. Brookdale looking to center. Carabin from about 28 yards out. No worries. Another stop for Todd. She's got a half dozen since she came back onto the pitch at the end of halftime. George moving along. Herkimer down a goal. Less than 20 to play. Looking for the upset. Brookdale recovers. Jenna Carabin. Lost opportunity there. Herkimer with a chance to reset the offense and perhaps get within striking range of the opposing keeper. Brookdale has one loss this season. It occurred 2 matches ago. 2-1 October 16th at Herkimer. Lauren Carabin, the number 5 player in Division III in points. She has 70, 28 goals, 14 assists. We've seen the goal out of Alonzo. She's their other big threat. That was her 17th goal of the season earlier in this one. Carabin, by the way, now has 30 goals even, counting the 2 here today. DeLonzo responsible for 39 points this year. Doria, who we mentioned a lot for quality midfield play, she's been involved in 7 goals, 10 assists. Coming into this one. And she scored the opening goal 3 minutes and a seconds into play. Lauren Carabin. Over to sister. Jenna. Shot on goal stopped. Here again, a matinee thriller here in Loves Park, folks. 4 and 5 seeds separated by a goal.
General substitution entering the game, number 13, Annie Thorpe.
17 and 7 to play.
Griffin.
A pace here. Kind of slowing down for Herkimer.
Correction on the last set for Herkimer.
How about the Herkimer head coach, by the way? He's got the shorts on.
That's gutsy right there.
You know, it's solidarity with his players.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you're going to see that from the team from Dallas, but we've got the Northeasterners here. A lot of bodies piled up in the corner. Herkimer trying to get inside that box. It's not win or go home, but in order to have a shot at the title, you got to win. No opportunity to get back into the championship bracket if you go to the consolation round. Loose ball chased down by DeLonzo. Over to Albano. They'll wind up in the corner.
Corner to Brookdale.
Last goal we saw was from Herkimer, a contested corner kick from Capron, put into the net by George. Debate resulted in the yellow card on Moreno. And it's been 4-3 since that point. That occurred with 25:32 left. And we are 10.5 minutes down the road from that point. Header goes wide.
Let's go, Brookdale!
Goal kick coming up here from Todd. Herkimer did not do a good job sweeping that ball away. One of the few times we haven't seen a quality result for the midfield player Renshaw there. She's typically been very productive from what we've seen so far today. An opportunity perhaps brewing here for Brookdale. A pair of 11s chasing this. Obama throwing in, looking for a Carabin. Finds Jenna. Lauren sitting just outside the inner box. And looks like a little whistle for the roughing.
And a sub for Herkimer. Alexis Romine comes in for Amber Douglas.
Time starting to run out here for Herkimer, but it's a 1-goal margin, folks. This can change in the blink of an eye. Brookdale could pad the lead. Herkimer could knock it up. You've got a calculator home. You probably figured this part out.
Come on, Brookdale.
Early games tomorrow will be those consolation brackets, 10 and 12:30 respectively. Semifinals at 3 and 5:30.
Game number 5, Alexis Romaine replacing number 15, Amber Douglas.
Richland beat Holyoke earlier. It'll take on the winner of this one in the 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. The late game will match the winners of Delta versus Howard and Genesee versus Union County. Inside 12. Brookdale with a chance. Jenna, a liner handled by Todd.
And Todd's done a very nice job since those opening 25, 30 minutes. He's made a number of really good saves. The back line's been a lot better. And if Herkimer is able to tie this up, well, Todd gets a lot of credit.
Bill Chaya, Sam Levitt bring you all the action from here in Loves Park, Illinois. First round action, Division III Women's Soccer National Junior College Collegiate Athletic Association Tournament. At one point, this was a 4-1 Brookdale advantage. It's now 4-3. And we're starting to see the Brookdale offensive philosophy, which is shoot all your rounds. Don't leave anything in the chamber. You'll hit a target eventually. We're beginning to see this tell. Here's a long line shot off the bar.
Keep it here, White.
We're going to see it tell. The overall shot margin has been heavily in favor of Brookdale throughout the afternoon, but now the specific shots on goal is in favor of Brookdale as well. That's not necessarily the case all the time for this team. But now Brookdale is establishing a solid pattern of shots on goal, 9-6 advantage in this half, and an overall lead of 3 for the match, unofficially. Tumble to the turf. That's Harrington. Here's Griffin. George fighting for control. That one headed away. A corner opportunity. This went real well for Herkimer last time. This will be Purcell, number 12. Nine and a quarter left. Here we go. And that one not aimed very accurately. Brookdale gets a past midfield with ease most of the time. This is no different. Here we go, some fancy footwork. A shot off the defender. Delonzo had it aimed well enough that it would have reached the goal otherwise. Delonzo has it again. Battling for control. That's Texter. Recovered. Brookdale retains. A fight now for the ball near midfield. And Herkimer takes over. You might have seen a missed offside call. I think we'll see one right there. I believe Purcell had advanced a little too far. That was a real tough time for Herkimer to take that offside call. That was probably some of the best midfield play we've seen there in terms of advancing the ball out of the Herkimer team in a considerable time. Herkimer will throw it in.
Let's go, Brookdale!
Brookdale has not scored since the 29th minute. George passes the ball along. This one will come wide off the foot of Harrington.
I like the idea by Harrington getting it forward and putting it on net, but it's not the quality you want if you're Herkimer. You want a bit of a better shot than that.
Other than the corner kick, all the scoring by Herkimer has been on the long ball. I don't know from our opportunity to talk to Coach Jason Palkovic if that's the normal game plan for him. I would think not, considering it's such an efficient passing operation over there. And you mentioned this not long after we came out of the mid-game break, Sam, that there was a lack of communication going on there, especially midfield side, I think, for Herkimer.
Yeah, there was. That was the sluggish start we saw in the opening half, and same thing in the second half. And those things have seemingly remedied themselves as these halves have gone along. But it's getting late now, and it's getting late, coming up on the 5-minute mark, and the opportunities are getting limited that you're going to have here. So at some point, Herkimer is just going to have to find a way to advance it beyond the midfield and create some different, more creative opportunities to get the ball on net.
Here's Doria looking to create. And that one well wide of the goal. Punted away by Todd. Herkimer unable to get it past midfield. Brookdale back on the attack. Turnover. A hair over 4 minutes left. Brookdale with the lead by goal. Herkimer has been on the wrong side of the scoreboard since the 3-minute, 1-second mark of the match. Here's Purcell. Played that away to somebody in the other kit. Cooper moving it over. Close enough to the opposing goal for Todd to put it away. And the always dangerous Lauren Carabin. Again, the 2 goals today, credit for 74 points.
And you're seeing Brookdale kind of play a little bit more conservative now. Even that play by Carabin. That was a ball earlier in this game. She turns around and tries to take it towards the net, but she was content there to let it roll, let it go out, burn some seconds as we come up on the 3-minute mark. So, I mean, they'd love another goal to put it away, but they seem content right now to play a little bit more conservative and try to burn out this clock.
And sometimes the more attentive officials will keep an eye out for possible delay of game activity. So I'm not saying that there's been one at this point, but that's something that you will occasionally keep an eye out for as a game official. Herkimer at this point, oh boy, this could be trouble. And that one kicked away. Herkimer at this point with less than 2.5 left is going to be lucky if it gets one more quality opportunity at the other end of the pitch.
And you can be sure Brookdale's going to take their time with this corner, going to take their time setting it up. And I'm with you. I mean, if you're Herkimer right now, you are looking at 1, maybe 2 more chances to really advance it and get an opportunity, and it almost didn't matter.
Headed by Doria, and a nice save by Rachel Todd. It's a 10-6 shot on goal advantage this half for Brookdale. Though the only goal of the half is on a George score off a corner kick with 25:32 left for Herkimer. Again, it's been a long time since we've seen a Brookdale score. Brookdale score at this point would put this game away.
Well, if Brookdale does hang on, an impressive start, but certainly it will be of hanging on by the skin of their teeth. I mean, they had many opportunities to extend the lead and really put this thing to bed, and they were unable to do it. But they're 115 away from making it not matter.
Winner of this one sees Richland, Texas, the top seed tomorrow afternoon, with a chance to then advance to a national final. Shot goes wide.
All right, here you go. A minute left. If you're Herkimer, this is it. You got to move it.
Herkimer unable to advance the ball. Brookdale looking to seal the deal. Up a goal. Todd's got to get rid of that ball in a hurry.
Yeah, and I'm just not liking this from Herkimer. There's a lot of standing around. You got 40 seconds left. I mean, everybody's got to get up there. There is no more defense.
30 seconds left. The ball back in the other box, and a frustrated-looking Todd punting that ball away. The body language all wrong there. And Herkimer running out of time. Brookdale about ready to wrap it up. Up 4-3. 10 seconds to go.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And that's it.
And your final score, the
Brookdale, after losing
Herkimer Generals 3.
just 2 matches ago, its only loss of the season, comes close to losing what had been a 3-goal lead here, but goes on to finish off 5th seed Herkimer 4-3 in what turned out to be an extremely compelling matchup here in Northern Illinois.